up, beautiful people? This is Pretty Girl Love Trap content. This is my recap slash review for Atlanta season 3, episode 8, New Jazz. Mm. We went on a little trip there, didn't we, guys? I mean, like, whew, Lord. Yeah, it's a lot, okay? How did you guys like this episode? Please drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. How did you like it? Did you dislike it? Like, what do you think the messages were in the episode? Like, holla at your girl, okay? Please make sure you like this video and subscribe if you are not already a subscriber, okay? So let's get into it, all right? So, New Jazz. Whew, yeah. So we start off with Paperboy and Darius. They're at this little, you know, little bar situation, little eatery. We're still overseas. And yeah, it's apparent that Darius be getting over, okay? He's just one of those, homeboys who ain't never gonna pay for the bill, okay? Your boy Paperboy was like, you want to split this? And Darius like, you want to split this? And so, of course, Paperboy already know I'm paying for all this, okay? And it didn't really look like Darius had much, so I don't know. Not that it matters, but yeah. At least pick up the tab a couple times. I'm just saying. And y'all, let me know what Darius' role is. Like, we know he's the manager. He takes care of Paperboy. But Darius, what are you just the homeboy that just hang around? Like, is he one of them? Like, Paperboy, I'm gonna need you to sign him some duties, all right? Put him on payroll so this man could get a W-2 or I-9, something, okay? Because you're not gonna be over here on my dime spending all of my coin, okay? We not doing that up in here. Have you not learned anything from LeBron James? I'm just saying, put the team on, make them useful. All right. So we see he comes in, and of course Darius and Paperboy, they're quiet. So uh, was like, okay, is this thing that you guys aren't going to tell me about for insurance purposes? And it was like, yep. He was like, okay, well, here you go. I have some spa packages for you guys. And yeah, have fun. So I'm like, oh, that's cute. Little spa packages and whatnot. So, but I guess they don't want to tell Ern what they about to do because, Ern, he handles all the paperwork and everything. So they want to make sure that Ern is not aware of anything they're doing because, with touring and everything, I'm assuming, they have, of course, insurance situations where we already saw in the previous episode before where Ern tried to get, the promoter to just file an insurance claim because Paperboy didn't want to perform. So, I guess they're just trying to make sure that whatever Ern doesn't know is not going to be held against him in a court of law, okay? So we see Darius and Paperboy, they on their little merry way somewhere, and your boy Darius is explaining this type of drug that's banned from the US, and yeah, you don't want to get it out the back market either. Is that serious, okay? And it is called a Nepalese space cake, okay? And yeah, it's one of those hallucinating situations where beware at your own risk. And I'm like, bruh, have y'all not seen Taken? Have y'all not, just seen any stories? Like, I will not be doing any of those type of drugs, let alone overseas. Like, that doesn't sound like a good idea, okay? And if you are going to do that, make sure you're in the confines of your own hotel room. Like, don't be traveling and eating. Like, it's too much. It's too much. I'm just saying, like, y'all risky. Y'all real risky, okay? But on the way to this little place, they see, seemingly homeless guy kind of strung out or something, on the ground. And so your boy Paperboy was concerned, and there's like, don't be that guy. Like, he's an idiot. So of course they go into this place and order the Nepalese space cake. Your boy Darius probably gave this guy all of like $1.14. And the man was like, this ain't enough. Like how Smoke Mama said, like, this ain't enough. Like, and your boy, Darius was like, make it enough. And so shout out to Friday, okay? And he was like, you know what? I'm gonna let fate handle this situation, okay? So he sit there, Paperboy is behind him, who's like, I got it. And Darius is like, thank you, Fate. I'm like, Darius, are you broke? Like, you can't be over here. Like, okay, I'm gonna just let that go. So they proceed to taste this Nepalese space cake. It's like a little hard cookie. I'm like, can you at least get it in a brownie form? Like, it doesn't even seem pleasurable going in, but what have you. The guy, the server placed it on top of like some coffee or hot chocolate or something. And so they allow it to kind of, melt, with the drink, and they proceed to take it. And your boy Darius told Paperboy, like, whatever happens, just know that I love you. Like, a drug is serious when you got to confess your emotions to your friend before you take it, okay? I'm like, oh, Lord, this is too much for me. So they on their way to the spa, and so we see the drug is kicking in. Darius, he's over there, getting the tunes together, got a little playlist for Paperboy. He got a playlist for himself. So they're just cruising, walking down the street. So yeah, Paperboy just seen everybody just kind of smile at him. He's very self-aware of his surroundings. So yeah, the drugs are kicking in, okay? They see a little rat, passed out or something. Like, it's very like nasty up in there, okay? And so Paperboy was like, do you know where we going? Because, yeah, I ain't got time. So Darius was like, okay, I know a shortcut. And so Paperboy noticed, like, it's a lot of tourists in that area. Like, this ain't safe. Are you going to be my security? Because I don't need no fans coming up to me. So Darius was, of course, not paying attention. So he proceeds to go down there. Lo and behold, he disappears. And we see a group of teens, and they recognize Paperboy, okay? So he's like, oh my God, crap. Like, dang, I was trying to avoid this. So they end up chasing him and trying to find him. So he kind of hides in this little, dark space in this like dark little building, whatever. So he kind of cracks the door and he sees the teens like, looking for him. So they end up, picking up this baby out of this carriage and start like playing football with the baby. And I'm like, yeah, they gotta be the drugs. Gotta be the drugs. Can't be real life. Like, yeah, it's real trippy at this point. So apparently, Paperboy found himself in an art gallery, okay? And, there's this patron that kind of sees him, and her name is Lorraine. And she was like, hey, do you need a friend? Do you need a friend? I'm like, He's like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm like, ain't nobody need to come up to me talking about, do you need a friend? Like, no, I'm good. I don't need no friends. Thank you, ma'am. I don't trust you. You a stranger. Stranger danger, okay? And so, of course, she would not leave him alone. And she was like, oh, you're a rapper, aren't you? And he was like, maybe. And she was like, oh, I hate rappers. I hate rappers. You guys don't know nothing about yourselves. You don't even know where your money goes. He was like, what you talking about? She was like, who owns your masters? And he was like, She's like, tisk tisk, a shame. You don't even know where your master's going to, bruh. Like, come on. I'm like, yeah, Paperboy. Like, how you not know what's going on here, bruh? Like, I thought you was smarter than that. You just riding the moment, right? Just signing away your life and not knowing where nothing is going. I mean, say we had so many examples. TLC, Tony Braxton. Like, come on, make sure your money is right and not funny. I'm just saying. Lord, see, it took a stranger to tell you your money ain't together. So he ends up asking her, like, yo, how do I get out of here? Okay. Because she was making fun of his hat. And she was like, okay, I'll be right back. So she tells him to pretty much take off his little brim hat and put on one of these goofy hats that these tourists been wearing. Okay. He's like, all right, whatever. Let's just go ahead and go. So they leave the art gallery. It is nighttime now. He's like, bruh, like, it was just daytime. What's going on here? She was like, well, we don't get much daylight here. I'm like, dang, like, what's going on here? Okay, this is a little spooky. So it's there in the red light district, okay? And I heard about them districts up in there overseas, okay, in Amsterdam, all right? And so, you seen all the women's and all the tourists and everything. So he kind of lose track of Lorraine, but eventually finds him. And so she takes him to this little speakeasy, okay? And they meet up with some of her friends. And so she introduces him to the little bodyguard or, the doorman. And he asked, for the name. She was like, his name is New Jazz. And he was like, why you call me that? And so apparently she done took people there before and named them New Jazz. So they was like, they gonna catch on if you keep calling people that. So they go in to speak easy, they ordering drinks. So Lorraine disappeared for some reason. So the friends was like, so how long y'all been effing? He was like, we ain't effing, what you talking about? He was like, you ain't the only rapper that been up in here, bruh. Like her apartment is called 106 in Park. Okay, so you know it's goings down up in there. I'm like, dang, Lorraine, you doing it like that, girl? So he gets uncomfortable. So Paperboy goes to the bar, and look who's there, Liam Neeson. I'm just like, of course you would be there. Who are you saving today, Liam? Who are you saving? Okay, better not be your daughter, okay? Because I hope she learned a lesson. But I was happy to see him because, of course, we referenced him early in the episodes with the little phone situation. So I was happy to see him. So he's kind of talking, and to him, he's like, this is a strange place, and he was like, yeah. It's a little strange up in here. So we see Liam, kind of picks up his drink, and we see on the napkin it's called the Cancel Club. So I was like, oh, okay, we get a little deep. So he goes into his situation from a few years ago where he spoke ill of African Americans and explaining that when he was younger, one of his friends got raped by an African American male, and he wanted, revenge. So he pretty much wanted to harm, African Americans, whatever. So, hence him in the so-called Cancel Club. So, just speaking volumes on, where Paperboy is at this point. We kind of stemming off from the situation with the clothing line and that whole horrible advertisement. So maybe we're coming off of that. Maybe we're kind of preventing him from a future situation. So that's what I love about Atlanta. Like, you can kind of interpret things differently, and nobody is necessarily wrong unless the writers and say that you guys know that's not it. And I really hope they eventually kind of dig deeper and give us an inside look on the episodes and what they really wanted to say out of their own mouths. I would really appreciate that. Come on, let us in, okay? So, after he discusses his situation, he was like, you know what? The best and the worst thing of being white is not really having to know or learn anything. I was like, well, ain't that the darn truth? So we see the announcer, he comes on stage and he was like, okay, we're performing, somebody's new is going to come up. And so we see Lorraine kind of, have him like, come on. He's like, what you want? So she kind of, whisks Paperboy up. But as he leaves, we see the announcer says his name, like Paperboy. So apparently they were trying to make him perform, but Lorraine, quote unquote, saves him from the situation. So, another message that they're trying to convey. So they kind of leave, and yeah, y'all, it's daytime now. I'm like, the drugs of it all. So they end up arguing, okay? He was like, man, what's going on, bro? Like, you've been on my head all day. And she was like, well, I've been trying to teach you, okay? You're not understanding or listening to anything I have been trying to say, okay? I've been telling you what you need to hear, okay? He was like, what you talking about? She was like, your friends let you wear that stupid behind hat. You got friends over here managing your money. You got friends over here not paying for nothing. Like, you are blind, okay? I need you to see, okay? She was like, I've invested so much in you. Like, what is going on? You're not seeing the truth. And she was like, you know what? Matter of fact, you ain't feeling nothing. So she started like saying, like, hey, you don't feel anything in your legs. So his legs became stiff. She said, his arms became stiff. So he just kind of went to this paralysis situation, and he ends up being like in this little alley, and she puts a blanket over him. I was like, okay, what's going on here? All right. So he passes out, right? And so the way the story evolves, it ends up showing him as the same guy that Paperboy saw before he went to get the Nepalese space cake. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. All right, all right. And so Paperboy wakes up in his hotel room, okay? And who's by his bedside? Where is Darius? who knows, okay? So yeah, Darius, you may be on the chopping block, bro. Like you are not proven to be of any use at this point. So you may be carrying your happy behind in an uncomfortable coach seat back to Atlanta if you don't get your ish together, okay? Because one, you're not going to introduce no drug to me and ghost me. Mind you, I understand you was on that drug, but you probably took that drug before. I think you had. So yeah, bro, you really are becoming a liability at this point. So yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Darius, since I am over it. I love Darius as character, but yeah, you have some trifling ways, my sir. So of course, Paperboy is, trying to figure out what happened. And yeah, your boy Ern was like, yeah, you been asleep for like 10 hours, okay? I got some lukewarm temperature, water by your bedside, okay? Got you some food. You may need to heat it up because you've been asleep all darn day. And so Paperboy noticed like his clothes are changed. He was like, you changed my clothes too? He's like, yeah, because I found you passed out and you vomited all over yourself. He was like, it wasn't easy either. I'm like, Ern, Paperboy, he probably about 250. Did you get help? Like you a real one, okay? Because if it was me, I'm like, man, get some Febreze or something, because I can't lift you, my boy. We'll have to figure something else out. Oh Lord. So he also asked for Lorraine. So Ern was like, you mean your mom? So I was like, okay. Let's kind of see where y'all going, all right. And so before Ern leaves, Paperboy asks like, hey, who owns my masters? And Ern's like, what? I was like, oh Lord, Ern, you own this man's masters. Like, what's going on here? I was a little concerned, but Ern ended up telling him like, you own your masters. And I was like, oh, okay, Ern, look at you earning your coin. So Paperboy, he had a little sigh of relief. He was like, thank you, bruh. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So, Lorraine wasn't, completely right about certain things, but I do hope, and think that it's shining a light on Paperboy. And he's gonna get a little wiser, not doing the hood rapper ish that he's been doing, like throwing money to strangers. You know how that go, okay? And I definitely hope that these rappers out here are watching this show, especially this episode, because the gems are being dropped. So I'm gonna need y'all to wisen up. Okay, so I appreciate you, Donald Glover, for another great episode. Thank you guys for listening. Drop down in the comments, let me know your thoughts, and please like this video. See you guys next episode, Lord willing. Bye bye.